Good evening and welcome to the Durham Planning Commission. The members of the Durham Planning Commission are appointed by City Council and the County Board of Commissioners to make recommendations to the elected officials. We emphasize that the elected officials have the final say on any issue before us. In person and wish to speak on a particular agenda item, please register on the sign-up sheets located on the table to my left. You will be called upon to make your comments at the appropriate time. You may also call in during the meeting by dialing 1-301-715-8592. If you call in during the meeting, you will need to wait until the particular public hearing you are interested in starts. After all of the pre-registered speakers have shared their comments, I will ask if there is anyone else wishing to speak. At that point, you will need to digitally raise your hand by pressing *9 on your phone. And when recognized, state your name and address before making your comments. The applicant has a total of 10 minutes for their presentation. Each speaker after the applicant has 2 minutes to speak. Commissioners will be given 5 minutes for Q&A. Please keep your comments succinct. Commissioners, as a reminder, after the public hearing is closed, you obtain the floor by being recognized by the chair. The time to make all public statements is before motions are made. All motions are stated in the affirmative, so if a motion fails or ties, the recommendation is for denial. After the case you are here for ends, please exit the chambers quietly and pursue further discussion in the lobby as the Commission continues its meeting. Finally, I ask everyone here and on the Zoom, the Commission members, the staff, and the public to conduct themselves in a courteous and respectful manner. If someone fails to act in that manner, the chair will ask the offending person or persons to be muted on the Zoom or asked to leave the council chambers until such time they regain personal control. If decorum fails to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until a genuine commitment to act respectful and courteous is observed. May we have the roll call, please?
Before we begin, staff would like to state for the record that all items that will be before you tonight have been advertised in accordance with state and local laws, and affidavits are on file for your review if you so choose, as well as per my my outfit tonight, puck drop is at 8:15. Just a friendly reminder. Chair Shigaris.
Here.
Vice Chair Cameron.
Here.
Commissioner Bailey. Commissioner Capers.
Here.
Commissioner Clemens. Commissioner Chakowski.
Here.
Commissioner Hunter. Commissioner Juarez Maldonado.
Here.
Commissioner McIver. Commissioner Montes.
Here.
Commissioner Neinkirkner.
Here.
Commissioner Piontek.
Here.
Commissioner Ritchie.
Here.
Commissioner Woke.
Here.
A quorum has been established.
Item number 3, adjustments to the agenda. There are no adjustments to the agenda. Number 4, approval of the minutes and consistency statements. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes and the consistency statement from May 12th, 2026.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie to approve the minutes and consistency statements. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 5 on the agenda, public hearing text changes. Development Moratoria text change TC 26/02. May we have the staff report, please?
Good evening. My name is Robin Schultz with the Planning and Development Department, here to present to you all on TC 26/00002, which is a staff-initiated text amendment. This amendment seeks to remove the additional barriers imposed by the Unified Development Ordinance on the governing bodies in order to institute development moratoria. Additionally, it will remove redundant standards which are already required by state law, specifically NC General Statute Section 160D-107. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. Well, the applicant has already spoken, and there are no members signed up to talk in person. Is there anybody on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item? On the Zoom? Where?
Go to here, right here. Click on that one. Yep, and now you have it right there.
Okay, Leslie St. Charla Rios? No, Leslie St. Dree?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, please state your address for the record.
Hi, I'm Leslie St. Dre. I live at 4820 Regalwood Road, Durham, North Carolina. Oh, okay. I'm just calling in support of this text amendment and eliminating the restrictions on moratorium as part of the Stop Data Centers in Durham coalition. We're very thankful that the planning department and city council and staff have taken this up so that we can enact a longer moratorium on data centers, hopefully, and otherwise be able to do so in the future as it is. Moratoriums are used for urgent matters that are not regulated. So I just appreciate this and full support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item? Please click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, *9. Charla Rios?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for acknowledging me. I'm Charla Rios. My address is 117 Tracy Trail in Durham, North Carolina. I'm in the county and also wanted to speak in support of the text amendment to the UDO on moratorium, specifically in this case also to support a moratorium against data centers. Moratorium periods are really helpful, I believe, in understanding the impacts of development and those full impacts of development. And as a public health and planning professional, graduating from UNC Chapel Hill, I think it's really important to slow down and really grasp the secondary and initial impacts of projects. And that's what this is about, making sure that the community and the department have a chance to do a thorough and comprehensive job in moratorium period. So I support this text amendment and really appreciate you all taking up this issue.
Thank you. Anyone else on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item? Click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, press *9. Nope. Anybody? Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you. Public hearing is now closed. We are open for commissioner discussion. Any commissioner questions or comments? No. May I have a motion to move case TC 26/02 development moratoria text change forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, as it relates to case number, I'm sorry, let me get that straight. Chair, as it relates to text changes, development moratoria text change, case TC 26/02, I move that we forward this case to the Durham City Council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie to move this case forward to City Council and County Commissioners forward with a favorable recommendation. Please open the electronic voting.
Did I vote?
The motion passes 6-4 with Commissioners Shigaris, Jakowski, Montez, and Piontek voting no.
Item number 6 on the agenda, public hearings, initial zoning map changes, Avalon Place Phase 9, Z25 0007A-BDG 25 *05. May we have the staff report, please?
Good afternoon, Chair Shigaris, Vice Chair Cameron, and Planning Commissioners. My name is Peyton Burgess, and I am here tonight to present Z25 00007A Avalon Place Phase 9. The proposal is for the direct translation rezoning and annexation of one parcel of land totaling 21.6 acres and located at 3132 Cheek Road. The zoning is residential rural, which would allow for the development of up to 30 single-family homes. Again, the existing zoning is residential rural. The site is surrounded by the same and PDR 3.750 to the south. The aerial map shows the general location of the project. To the south is the Avalon Place neighborhood currently being developed. The property is currently designated mixed residential neighborhood on the place type map. The proposed zoning was determined to be consistent with the designated place type. The applicant held neighborhood meetings on April 22nd, 2025 and May 12th, 2026. 4 community members attended the first meeting and 2 attended the second. There have been no comments received on the Durham Rezoning Explorer in relation to this case. The proposal is consistent with the place type designation of mixed residential neighborhood, and it is also consistent with 5 of 5 applicable comprehensive plan policies. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Chair Shigaris, members of the commission. I'm Jamie Schwather with Parker Poe at 301 Fayetteville Street, here on behalf of the applicant, Meritage Homes. I'm accompanied by our engineer, David Dunn, who's available to answer questions and is a representative of B&K. This request is to annex one parcel that's part of the Phase 9 of the development that's already under construction. It's adjacent to city limits and would be located along Cheek Road, just east of the intersection of Cheek Road and Junction Road. It's currently vacant and totals about 21 acres. The straightforward annexation is consistent with Policy 165 because it's contiguous with existing city limits. It reduces an enclave or donut hole that already exists in the city. It's consistent with Policy 118 and 117, and that the proposal is revenue positive and within the urban growth boundary, consistent with Policy 119 because there were no identified barriers to emergency services associated with the staff review, and consistent with Policy 128 as the required sewer upgrades are provided in connection with the SUDS, which has been approved, and the UEA, which is pending. And thus, it's consistent with all 5 of the applicable policies from the comprehensive plan. And we note that this development has been under review for some time. The site plan has been approved, and with that site plan, the extension of Aviation Parkway and the Northern Durham Parkway has already been committed, and portions of that are contemplated for construction. So this is the last remaining part, just a cleanup of the annexation and translational zoning, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any community members? The only community members in person who have signed up is the applicant. So any community members on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item, please click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, please press *9. Going once, going twice. No, nobody raises their hand. Okay.
So lively today.
The public hearing is now closed. We are now open for commissioner discussion. Are there any commissioner questions or comments on this case? Seeing no commissioner questions or comments. Did I close the public hearing?
Yeah, you closed.
Close it. May I have a motion to move case Z25 quadruple 07 BDG 25 quadruple 05 Avalon Place Phase 9 forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, as it relates to case Z25 quadruple 07A dash BDG 25 quadruple 05 Avalon Place Phase 9, I move that we move this case forward with a favorable recommendation to City Council.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have the electronic voting, please?
The motion passes 10-0.
Next item on the agenda, 7A, public hearings, zoning map changes, 3815 Wake Forest Highway, Z24 00035. May we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair. This proposal seeks to change the zoning designation of 9 parcels of land totaling 10.9 acres and located between Wake Forest Highway and Valleydale Drive. The current zoning is commercial neighborhood, residential rural, residential suburban 20. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Plan Development Residential 18.410 to allow up to 200 apartments and townhouses. The site is immediately surrounded by residential rural, residential suburban 20, and planned development residential to the north, east, and south. West of the site is the commercial node with commercial zoning districts at the intersection of Wake Forest Highway and Mineral Springs Road. The aerial map that you see shows the general location of the project. The site is situated generally northeast of Wake Forest Highway and Mineral Springs Road intersection. This node has various non-residential and commercial uses. Immediately to the south is Oak Grove Elementary School. To the north and east of the site are single-family residences. The properties are currently designated suburban commercial, apartment and townhouse neighborhood, established residential, and recreation and open space on the place type map. The proposed PDR 18.410 zoning is generally consistent with the apartment and townhouse neighborhood, established residential, and recreation and open space place types. However, the proposal is inconsistent with the suburban commercial place type. If the proposed zoning is approved, staff recommends a change to the place type map to designate the suburban commercial place type portion of the property as apartment and townhouse neighborhood. On the screen are a list of notable commitments within the graphic development plan. Some of these include 12% of the total units to be townhouses, 10-foot shared path along the frontage of Wake Forest Highway, off-site sidewalk construction subject to easement and right-of-way acquisitions, 75% of the required trees to be native, and a $15,000 contribution to Durham Public Schools. Before you is a screenshot of the graphic development plan. 2 access points are shown from Wake Forest Highway. 1 access point is shown from Valleydale Drive. If the exclusive eastbound left turn lane on NC 98 and Valleydale Drive cannot be constructed, the Valleydale access point will not be permitted. Tree coverage is dispersed throughout the site. A riparian stream buffer is located on the northeast portion of the site. The graphic development plan depicts the building and parking envelope outside the riparian stream buffer, but does show it encroaching into the future conditions flood hazard area. Neighborhood meetings were held in accordance with the neighborhood meeting guidelines on October 15, 2024, and April 7, 2026. 2 comments have been received by staff in relation to the case on the Durham Rezoning Explorer. Both are opposed to the proposal. As stated previously, the proposal is consistent with the place type map designation of apartment and townhouse neighborhood, established residential and recreation and open space. However, it is inconsistent with the suburban commercial. And if approved, staff recommends a change to that place type to apartment and townhouse neighborhood. Lastly, the proposal is consistent with 20 of 27 applicable comprehensive plan policies. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Chair Shigaris, Vice Chair Cameron, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Neil Ghosh. I'm an attorney with the Morningstar Law Group, and I'm here on behalf of the owner and applicants for this annexation rezoning request. With me tonight is Mr. Jeremy Anderson with Thomas and Hutton, who are the landscape architects for the project. This assemblage is made up of 9 parcels totaling just under 11 acres. It is across the street from Oak Grove Elementary and right next to the Oaks Crossing Shopping Center, where there is a transit stop. So when you look at this site on a map, it's kind of the perfect location for apartments and townhomes. With the commitment we have to connecting to the off-site sidewalk, this will ultimately be a residential site that has walkability to transit and restaurants, with a school across one street and a grocery store across the other. So it's an ideal location. The zoning we're seeking, PDR, would allow for the property to be developed for a mix of apartments and townhomes. The density would be a little bit north of 18 dwelling units per acre, which would allow for a total of 200 units. We've committed to a minimum of 12% of the units being townhomes. And you can see on the graphic development plan for this project that there, well, I'll touch on a few items. You can see that there are 2 points of access onto Highway 98, and I believe both of those are going to be restricted to right in, right out. There is another possible point of access onto Valleydale. That would be an optional access point that may or may not be built. It would provide a full access movement, but it also requires a left turn lane on 98, so it's unclear whether that will actually get built with the project, so it is an optional access point. You can also see that there is no stream on the property, but there is one close by, and the riparian buffer for that stream overlaps onto this property. We are not going to be getting within 100 feet of that off-site stream, and I will say I think there's an error in the staff report which suggests that the building and parking envelope overlap in the floodplain area. Now, I just want to set the record straight that the building and parking envelope do not overlap in the 100-year floodplain. There's a small section that may look like it overlaps. To my understanding, that's the 500-year floodplain, which is not regulated. And that's something that I think we can clear up on the exhibit, but we're not actually overlapping with the zone AE that is, it looks like it on the graphic development plan. That's our fault, but I just want to be clear that we are not. And speaking of the 100-year floodplain, I have a few more conditions that we'd like to add tonight. First, we want to make a commitment to handling the 100-year storm event at the existing culvert under Valleydale Drive. So basically that means that we will study that culvert and upgrade it as needed to make it, to handle the 100-year flood event, or 100-year storm event, if it is needed. So we want to make sure that that culvert, existing culvert, doesn't get overwhelmed. And additionally, we want to commit to providing a minimum of 15% of the overall units as accessible units, meaning that they will be able to be accessed without the use of stairs. And we want to commit to providing 5% of the units as affordable units under the UDO. The staff report suggests that our commitment to green building does not meet the policy as stated. And my understanding is that the additional language we added, or the second sentence in that commitment, is the issue. So we would go ahead and remove that language so that we can be consistent with the policy. We intend to do some green building techniques. I think the second sentence suggests that all we have to do is show that we applied for them, and that's not our intent. So we remove that. And finally, I want to touch on the environmental components. The site as is, does not have a lot of trees on it. We've looked at into whether we'd be able to provide more tree coverage, and it's just not something that we can get comfortable with because of the lack of trees on the site already. But that having been said, we do want to reduce the maximum amount of impervious allowed on this site. So currently it's at 70%. And where we're sitting right now, I think we'd be comfortable reducing it to 65%. We're going to continue to look at that number and see if we can reduce it any further. But for tonight's purposes, where we're at, we do want to go ahead and reduce that to 65%. But again, ultimately, this project, save for a small sliver that is, I believe, suburban commercial place site map, we're consistent with the place site map. And if you look at this site on a map, this is an ideal location for dense residential development, particularly because of the walkability to non-residential uses, including a school, including a grocery store and restaurants. And we have also committed to that offsite sidewalk. I think we're taking advantage of existing infrastructure, which should be the goal of infill development. Our team is available to answer any questions you may have, and we thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Community members in person wishing to speak. Michael Harris.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. My name is Michael Harris. I live at 403 Oak Grove Parkway. This development, at this particular time, I wish you would not permit it to happen. We have almost 2,500 vehicles drive up and down Wake Forest Avenue. The school is right across the street, and what he talked about, the little center there, there's nothing but a gas station and a small postal area in that particular vicinity. The Valley Drive it's a really small, tight little area, which about 8 homes on that particular drive. So it would impact them quite much. And it would impact Oak Grove Parkway with more traffic, especially during the evening and morning time. At the moment, we don't have enough safety when it comes to if we needed to call on 911. The only emergency safety we would probably come in contact with is mainly the county department. The police department here in Durham does not recognize that area very much when it comes to emergency. And the reason why I say that is because I tried to call upon them a few days ago when I was downtown near the Main Street for an incident, and I couldn't get through down in the 911 area. So that particular area that the development is trying to develop is going to be impacted with too much traffic, too many individuals, and not enough space to move around. And the elementary school, which is right across the street, no one seems to recognize the speed that happens up going past on Wake Forest Highway. No one applies in the sense of keeping the speed limit down. So I would suggest you guys not pursue this with this development. Thank you.
Wally McKay.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Planning Commission. I also say this development should not happen. You have Mineral Springs to the west of this development. It's 2-lane from Sharon Road to 98, 2-lane all the way down to Fletcher's Chapel and Stallings. It's all 2-lane. Then when Stallings is already overflowed, 98 highway is overflowed, they're talking about coming out of Valleydale. That'll be a stoplight have to be put there 1 block from the stoplight at Oak Grove Parkway. I live at 408 Oak Grove Parkway, and 98 highway is already a cluster. It takes 1 hour to get the food line, 1 mile away, rush hour. And in the mornings, traffic coming from Wake Forest into Durham, take a chance on getting hit if you pull out the stoplight. That road is way too heavily traveled. That development should not happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other community members in person? That was it for the sign-up sheet. Okay, we're going to go to the Zoom. Donna Steinbach.
Hello, my name is Donna Steinbach, and my address is on file. I sent out a document, a short PowerPoint, and it was regarding the key concerns that we have. And one of them is that the area needs more commercial development. We're getting so much housing development, but very little commercial. There are vital services that have a shortage, and that's in violation of policy 119. And I didn't see any costing information in the documents. I kept looking over it and searching. The Lick Creek sewer services this will further impact them because there's already been approved 3,500 sites and we've only got capacity per the city services for 2,375 3-bedroom units. There are varying slopes on this property, and I'm very concerned because I've lived here all my life, and I had to cross over that stream and all going to school, and that floods very badly, and I'm concerned about still, even with what they're proposing, having enough space for that stream. And I'm also concerned that the stream will carry a lot of sediment, especially when you're looking at 70% impervious and 20% trees that help reduce the sediment. And that leads to the next critical concern about the environmental impacts. What was committed to were minimal in just about all categories.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Your 2 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Tamika Patterson.
Hello, my name is Tamika Patterson, and I also live within 1,000 feet of the proposed zoning map change. I agree with my neighbors that we should not move forward with this this change first, because as far as I am aware, there has been no traffic impact analysis conducted. Adding up to 200 units would introduce hundreds of more vehicles. And as my neighbors have pointed out, there's already a lot of traffic in this area. Voting on approving this before we know if the intersection can handle that load, even if I think as his plan, there's an additional turn lane being added or something, that I don't think is going to be able to mitigate what we're talking about with an additional up to 200 units. In addition, I think this would allow for building heights up to 5 stories. A 5-story structure placed adjacent to lower density homes creates a harsh conflict in scale and a direct loss of privacy for the long-term residents. There needs to be some type of step-down zoning buffer so that it would require some mature, robust landscape screening, which I don't think they have a plan for from what I just heard. There's no plan to mitigate construction impacts on the surrounding houses. So we'd be facing months of heavy equipment vibrations, dust, stormwater runoff. And again, we have streams and things in this area. There's no additional noise ordinances or structural protections in place. And so there needs to be some type of binding construction management plan that would establish clear working hours and some baseline structural inspections for the people who are closest to protect these property owners. Finally, if it is decided that this urban level
Thank you.
density belongs in this corridor,
Thank you, Ms.
then
Patterson.
thank you.
Sorry, your 2 minutes are up. Anybody else on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item, please click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, press *9. Pamela Andrews.
Good evening. 6108 Wake Forest Highway is my address. I just want to say a couple of things tonight. First of all, Mineral Springs and Valleydale Drive have always flooded tremendously and have been shut down many, many times. If you live anywhere out in this area of town, you know all about that. I also wanted to bring up the City of Stormwater also flagged a history of contamination at 3718 Holloway Street, stating that the contamination plume may or may not be on this property, and noted there are water supply wells near this project. So before this property was annexed or rezoned for this level of residential intensity, what specific testing has been done to determine whether grading and runoff or future stormwater controls could move forward with this contamination towards Little Lick Creek? This was asked at some of our neighborhood meetings. So I dug into it today myself and found that sure enough, there is an NCDEQ incident report number 9992, which comes back to contamination from underground gasoline or kerosene or diesel types of tanks. The first was discovered in 1993. The groundwater was found to have been impacted by the site of Kerry Oil Company. The groundwater contaminant plume was defined in the up gradient and down gradient directions. This continues to be monitored even in 2025 was the last report I found. There are currently 5 active stations on that site. An 8,000 gallon super unleaded container, one 6,000 gallon plus unleaded container, one 3,000 gallon kerosene tank container, and 2 4,000 gallon containers of unleaded and diesel fuel, a total of 5 tanks. So this was questioned whether or not this plume could possibly move towards this development and into Little Lick Creek. It was in the report on the 3rd submission, so we dug deeper, and sure enough, this is a real thing. It's a real concern that has not been answered to date. So I ask you, this should not move forward until we know it's cleared by the NCDEQ. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Trina Himes. Trina Himes, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
My apologies. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please state your address for the record.
Yes. Excellent. My name is Trina Himes. My address is on file. I am speaking in opposition to the Wake Forest 3815 highway unless specific environmental protections are explicitly made mandatory. You'll notice in the legal description in your packets tonight, it states that the Falls Jordan Watershed Protection Overlay District B will experience no change. Let's be clear, keeping the boundary line of a map is really just a technicality, and it's an illusion of safety. The staff and developers cannot guarantee no change to the actual watershed when they are fundamentally transforming the land use inside it. This case jumps from low-density county residential rural to city PDR, unlocking 18.4 units per acre across 11 acres. The overlay does not prevent the massive spike in impervious surfaces. Replacing soil and trees with concrete rooftops and asphalt means a catastrophic surge in stormwater volume and velocity rushing through the very overlay district. This is an extreme vulnerable positioning to our ecosystem. Durham's municipal data proves that soil is uniquely non-draining and highly erodible. Standard plastic silt fences are completely useless against it. The fine sediment remains suspended in the water, indefinitely bypassing fundamental traps. Both developers are seeking voluntary annexation tonight solely to access the city water and sewage to unlock the high-density PDR zoning. But because of this, you all have the ability to actually demand accountability. If they are so confident there would be no change, they would be more than willing to add proffers and a commitment in writing to agree to recurring third-party testings? What good does it do to have additional housing without proactively assuring we have clean drinking water? For these reasons, I ask you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Vicky King? Are you there, Vicky? Hello? Vicky, you have your hand raised, but we cannot hear you. Technical problems? Anybody else on the Zoom wishing to speak? Please click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, press *9. Maybe she'll call back in. Okay, would the applicant care to respond to any of these concerns?
Yes, thank you. This is Neil Ghosh speaking on behalf of the applicant once again. There are a couple statements made about the traffic in the area, and I just want to point out a couple things in the staff report related to traffic. First of all, on page 6 of the staff report, you can see that the data here shows the AADT for the current roadway on Highway 98. It's designed for 24,300 trips, and the latest traffic volume they have is 13,500 trips. So it's already operating under capacity. Aside from that, on the same page, you will see that the daily traffic, the potential impact of the proposed designation that we're seeking actually is calculated to reduce the amount of traffic that could be produced from this site based on the current zoning. So it is correct to say that there was no traffic impact analysis required, but that's not surprising because the actual project that we are proposing here represents a net reduction in traffic impacts on the network by a daily volume of 6,448 trips, so a lot of trips. And the AM peak hour trip reduction, we're reducing at 323, and the PM peak hour, we're reducing at 277 trips. So reductions are expected as a result of this based off of what could be built on the site today under the current zoning. If you go to, I also just want to point out that if you go back to page 5 of the staff report, they talk about the local schools in this area, the schools that would be districted for this project, and you can see that all of those schools are significantly under school capacity. I think you all probably are familiar with some of the school capacity issues that we're having at DPS. They're talking about closing a school. I mean, when you see numbers like this, it's not surprising to understand why. But, you know, school traffic is school traffic. You can set your watch to it. That's not to suggest that it doesn't exist. It absolutely exists. But the fact of the matter is the schools in the area, particularly elementary school, are underutilized. Then I did want to speak to the contamination issue that was brought up. Just to be clear, none of that contamination originated or exists on the site. I think the speaker said that there's existing, 5 tanks. Those tanks are not on this site. They are across the highway from us. And as was mentioned by that speaker, they are continuously being monitored. So I would agree with the speaker that this is a real thing. However, this is not something that exists on this property. It is something that is continuously monitored, and it will continue to be monitored at that existing problem site where this issue originated, where it exists. So we actually have a lot of confidence in that system, in that program, because it is continuously monitored, and not by us, and not by a developer. So it is continuously monitored by a regulatory authority. And I'll just reiterate some of the commitments that were made, which, to be fair to everyone here, staff, the speakers, and you all, I did add a bunch of commitments that may not have been clear, so I just want to just go through that real quick again. We're committing generally to handling the 100-year storm at the existing culvert in Valleydale, which was to address some of the flooding concerns that you heard. We are committing to having 15% of the units be accessible units. We are committing to having 5% of the units as affordable units. We are adjusting the language in our green building technique so that it is consistent with the policy. And we are reducing our impervious from the 70% maximum that's allowed to 65%. Oh, and I also will just touch once again that there is a graphical error on the plan, but we are actually not within that flood zone AE at all. So we are outside of those floodplain areas. I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the technical difficulty fixed to where a Zoom member? No? Was it Vicky King? Vicky King, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
My name is Vicky King. I live at 2517 Ardsley Drive in Durham. I was born and raised in this area. I've lived out here for over 60 years. That is too dense. The number of units going in on that 10 acres of land is absolutely too dense for this area. Valleydale Drive cannot handle any more traffic than it's already handling right now. It's not like a regular 2-lane road. It's basically a side street with no curb, no gutter, no sidewalks. Until upgrades are completed, can the wastewater really be handled from this area? The closest creek has a long history of flooding. We used to get diverted going back and forth to school because I went to the same school Pam Andrews did. We could not cross that creek sometimes when hurricanes and hard rains and 2 or 3 days of rain come. What's going to be done to keep water from flowing out of the parking lots on the impervious surface in this development? There really, truly is too much development, even though he said Wake Forest Highway could handle 24,000 car trips a day. I find that very hard to believe because less than a mile past this development, it narrows down to 2 lanes, and then you start the creek in town and out of town. The whole noise construction thing, that's a whole idea I haven't even thought about. Has anyone else downtown thought about that? Because you've got some longtime residents living on Valleydale Drive. What's going to happen to their property when they come in and have to blast or dig or whatever they're going to have to do to construct on this 10 acres of land? I would hope that the Planning Commission would shoot this down, and I'm hoping that the City Council does too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the Zoom wishing to speak? Click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, *9. Nope. Going once, twice. No. Public hearing is now closed. We are open for commissioner discussion. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Commissioner Ritchie.
Can I ask you a couple questions? No?
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
thanks for your presentation. In general, I mean, I think that having something, an 18-minute bus ride to downtown is great, and the kind of thing that we want to be investing in when it comes to density. I would also want to make sure that we're investing in that in a way that's getting access to the folks that need to be in a place where they can take a bus ride 18 minutes to downtown. So the affordability commitment at 5% for 200 units is, I think, smaller than we would typically see, especially for something this advantageous to the communities that we're trying to target with transit-oriented development. I think 10% would be something we're pushing for more. So just tell me a little bit about where you all are on that proffer, especially since it wasn't in the original text plan.
So this client, they own the property. They have done development work, but not in North Carolina, I don't think. And so it's something that we're helping to educate them on, and they're trying to sharpen their pencil on to figure it out. I don't disagree with the statement you made, and I hope that we'll be able to move that percentage higher. But it's something that obviously the applicant has to get comfortable with. And I don't know, I just wanted to address something else. I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but there is I believe, NCDOT project on Mineral Springs that will add sidewalk on that side of the street, as I understand. And I don't know if that includes upgrades to the existing transit stop, but that's, we're hoping to take advantage of that infrastructure. We want to link up with that sidewalk project to provide continuous sidewalk. I mean, practically speaking, you could go from this site to the existing shopping center, not on a sidewalk. I mean, they're right next to each other. So you could do it, but the sidewalk obviously would be a more formal way to do that. And so we have memorialized that commitment in our zoning documents as well.
Great. And then I don't want to steal a question from Commissioner Wilk, but why 75% native as opposed to 100? I mean, what's the difference there?
I think I'll have to turn to Jeremy Anderson on that. We're at 75% native plants as opposed to 100%.
Yeah, Jeremy Anderson, Thomas Nutton. Just to give some flexibility. I mean, we've had this discussion before. We're certainly comfortable going higher, but for a project this size, it gives a little bit of flexibility for some more metal plants to be in there, but the majority being native, which we support. If it's a critical item, we could look at that, but just give a little flexibility with some more metal plants given the community.
Good, thanks.
Any Commissioner Wook?
Hey, I think my question I just wanted to get staff confirmation that change in language on the green building techniques is acceptable, and that makes that a commitment, because in our notes it says it's not enforceable.
Yeah, removing the stipulation that they could submit an application to verify compliance, removal of that will make it compliant.
Okay.
Because they would need to do that before
Great.
the certificate of compliance would be
Okay,
issued.
and while you're there, I have another question about the encroachment into the floodplain, because we've heard that a lot tonight, and it was in the neighborhood meetings as well about the flooding. So Mr. Ghosh was saying that there is not actually any encroachment in the floodplain. Is that?
So there is, the AE floodplain is correct that their parking envelope does not encroach into that. The site also includes X 1% future conditions floodplain, which is regulated by the UDO. And the parking and building envelope does encroach in that. So that's a small sliver that it actually encroaches into. A slight adjustment to the building and parking envelope would address that.
Yeah, that's consistent with, I think, what we were saying as well.
Okay.
Just to.
So that is not, you're committing to no longer encroaching in that floodplain.
That they would be no longer encroaching into the 1% future condition.
Yeah.
With the adjusted adjustment to the building and parking envelope.
Okay.
If If I can approach you, I'll show you where it is.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I think if the applicant could add to the legend the distinction between the future conditions and the AE would be beneficial.
Any other? Yes, Commissioner Juarez Maldonado.
I was hearing a lot of what folks were saying. I grew up in Durham, and I passed this street a lot of times because I went to Neal Middle School, and the Latino Plaza is right there, right? So there's already so much traffic happening, especially because a lot of people use this as a back end to go to like Briar Creek or things like that. So I hear a lot of different concerns about not only like the traffic that can exist, and I know that you have mentioned that it would actually reduce it, but I don't know if I can say that, but I want to, I think that's not true because I feel like I've passed that street so many times, but then on top of that, I worry about like the school that's right next to it, right? I've seen a lot of cars go really fast around that lane, and I can just imagine how much change that would happen if 200 people also moved in. Like, I just don't, I guess the question is, like, how really are you going to, like, promise or implement like that no changes would actually happen with traffic, especially when we think about the safety of students, right? A lot of school buses, when we think about that, and even then just the increase of folks that are moving near.
Sure.
I don't know if that question makes sense, but I think that's just one of the concerns that I heard a lot about. But also, I also noticed, there's a lot of neighboring houses. So there's a lot of houses that are nearby residents. So another thing that I heard was noise, right? So how are you communicating to neighbors about that? And how are you ensuring that their day-to-day is not being impacted? Yeah, so I hear a lot of different concerns, so I just want to make sure that you're able to answer that. And maybe I just need more clarification around that too.
Sure. So let me start on the traffic component. Just to be clear about what I said, and maybe provide further clarification. This development will absolutely add cars to the road from what is there today. I believe the property currently is developed with a few houses, and any development of this site that is more intense than a few houses is going to add traffic to the network. So yes, there will be more cars on the road as a result of this. The analysis in the staff report related to traffic, and this is how staff analyzes every request, is they look at the current zoning on the property, and they determine from a traffic impact standpoint what is the most intense use that could be built by right under the current zoning, right? And so some of this property is already zoned commercial, neighborhood commercial, and some of it's RS10, some of it's RS20. So between all of those, the various zoning districts that exist on this property, the type of development that can be built there by right is much more intense from a traffic standpoint than what we're proposing here. So when I was speaking about a reduction in traffic, what I'm saying is a reduction in traffic based off what could be built here by right from a maximum intensity standpoint on traffic, right? That's what I'm talking about. But if you're just talking raw numbers, yes, there will be more cars on the road as a result. You asked what can be done, with respect to the traffic that's on the road and how to keep like the school safe and that type of thing. So there are road improvements that are proposed. The two access points that are on 98 are right in, right out only. So, you wouldn't be able to make a left turn. If you were headed east on 98, you wouldn't be able to turn into this development. You actually have to go around and come back and then turn right into the development unless that access point on Valleydale is provided, in which case there would be a turn lane added on 98 to get to Valleydale, which would, of course, move that traffic out of the through traffic to keep it safe. You mentioned that people speed through this area. There's nothing that the developer is going to be able to do to prevent people from speeding. That just is what it is. Highway 98, it's an NCDOT road. They're not going to allow speed bumps or anything like that. So to the extent that people speed on this road, I guess I would say they're violating the law, but there's nothing the developer can do to prevent an individual from speeding. And then you asked about noise and how we're communicating with the neighbors related to that. Just to be frank, we haven't talked about noise with the neighbors. It hasn't necessarily been raised. I will just say in a growing city, all development is going to cause some level of noise. I don't disagree with that. I mean, there will be noise as a result. And, in a growing city, you should expect that at some point you'll have more neighbors and you might have more noise. The noise ordinances are in effect. And, the development activities would have to comply with those noise ordinances. But, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there won't be extra noise if something gets built there. It doesn't really matter what gets built there. When the backhoe starts backing up, yeah, you'll hear the beep. There will be noise. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments or questions? Commissioner Montez?
Yeah, to America's point, I don't know if I quite agree that developers can't do anything to slow people down. I know they'll probably, if we don't do something, they won't slow down. But there are certainly little things. I mean, in this case situation right here, obviously the intersection is a little weird. The right in, right out helps traffic on the westbound situation. Cars, school students coming in and out, taking a left out of there are going to have a hard time. But there could be smaller measures. I'm not saying anything crazy, but I've worked with NCOT and other measures that there's things that you can do, especially around a school zone, like beacon lights, on either side of the road, signage that says, hey, school zone, just more announced school zone warnings. That would be brilliant for this and would relieve a lot of the stress. I'm in support of the project for sure for density here, but I think it would make a great project if you enhance some of the safety measures. Not speed bumps. I know NCDOT want to prove that, but little things here or there that are available and very affordable that could make a big difference.
Commissioner Montes, I think that's a great point. I think signage is something we can look into. There are school zone signs there now. I also, just for what it's worth, was kind of curious why there isn't a striped crosswalk on. I mean, maybe because it's a highway. I don't know. But there's a school right there, and the school I went to had a crosswalk.
I agree. I don't think it's a safe place to put a crosswalk unless you guys are going to install another traffic signal at the crosswalk or beacon light, for example. That happens a lot, but which could be an option. But obviously NCDOT has to weigh on that, and you guys have to work that out with the engineers. But there are little things here or there at the bare minimum that could be done to slow cars down, especially during school peak hours.
Yeah.
In and out, and I do think that should be considered.
I think we can look into that. The signage idea, as far as I know, they just have the yellow school zone sign. I've seen some that have like flashing lights. I don't believe that exists at this location. We can look into that. Thank you. That's a great idea.
Any other questions or comments? No. I have some questions. You mentioned walkability to the school. So that would, in my mind, mean that they would have to walk from this address to Mineral Springs Road, which is signalized, cross there, and then come back on the sidewalk to the school. Is there going to be a sidewalk constructed all the way from this project across these other, what looks like a couple properties that aren't yours, to make sure that people can walk safely?
Yeah, we have a commitment
to this retail and to a signalized crossing to the school.
So I think we were just kind of talking about the same thing. So we do have a commitment to provide off-site sidewalk. So that's like, those other parcels are the shopping center. There's no sidewalk there currently, but it is a shopping center. And so we've made the commitment to add that sidewalk there.
To the shopping center?
Yep, provided there's the existing right-of-way for it, right? And then you were talking about to a signalized intersection. So my understanding is that intersection is signalized, but there is no striped crosswalk there.
Right.
And that's, I think, what Commissioner Montez was referring to as well. And that's something that, it's a DOT road. I don't know why there isn't a crosswalk there, but we certainly couldn't make a commitment to that. It's just outside of our control. We would look into it. I mean, we'd be interested in having a crosswalk there.
And,
I can't tell you there will be.
Another question about the contaminated water site. You said it was across the street. Which street? Is it across
It's actually
Highway
on the
98?
other, it's kind of cat-a-corner from the site at the intersection. I believe it's,
Where the motorsports and the,
it's the southwest corner of the intersection. And I think it's primarily a used car lot now.
yeah. And the connection to Valleydale, that's only optional, you're saying? That's not a commitment?
Yeah, so it's optional because we don't know if we're actually going to build it. If we build it, the limiting factor is the ability to add the turn lane on 98. So the turn lane on 98 is required if we are going to have an access point on Valleydale. If we cannot put the turn lane on 98, then we will not have that access point on Valleydale. That's accurate, okay.
And the concerns about a 5-story structure and not having a step-down buffer to the surrounding, so it's just going to be a big 5-story and then there's houses. Is there any possibility?
I wouldn't be able to make that. I think it's a good point. I wouldn't be able to make that tonight. I don't actually think that they were looking at a 5-story product here. I think our zoning has a 60-foot limit, which I agree with the speaker that you can fit 5 stories in 60 feet, but that's typically like a downtown flat roof type of format, which I don't think is what is anticipated here. But nevertheless, it is a fair point, and we can look more into that to see how we can address that particular issue.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions,
Thank you.
comments? Nope, everybody's good? All right. May I have a motion to move case Z24-00035 Wake Forest Highway forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, in regards to the case 3815 Wake Forest Highway, case number Z24-00035, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Capers to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have the electronic voting, please?
There we go. The vote is tied 5-5, which by rule is a failure of the motion.
The next item on the agenda is Oak Grove Landing, Z25-00034. Commissioner Montez?
To my colleagues, I would like to go ahead and recuse myself from Oak Grove Landing, case Z25000034 and BDG 25000022 to a potential conflict of interest. I'm going to step outside until the case is completed, and then I'll come back in.
Thank you, Commissioner Montez. May we have the staff report, please?
Good afternoon, Chair Shigaris, Vice Chair Cameron, and Planning Commissioners. My name is Peyton Burgess, and I am here tonight to present Z25-00034 Oak Grove Landing. The request is for the rezoning of 3 parcels of land totaling 10.91 acres and located at 416, 426, and 430 Sharon Road. The existing zoning is residential suburban 20 and residential rural, and the applicant proposes to change this designation to planned development residential 4.583 to allow for up to 50 single-family homes. As you can see, the existing zoning is primarily residential rural, with the residential suburban 20 portion located closer to Sharon Road. The site is currently surrounded by the same and has PDR 7.698 across the street. The aerial map shows the general location of the project, which is in the Oak Grove area. The property is currently designated mixed residential neighborhood on the place type map. The proposed zoning was determined to be consistent with the designated place type. The textual development plan commits to a variety of elements. The highlights are a maximum of 50 single-family residential units, 10% of units having an at-grade entrance and first floor bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom, $96,000 to Durham Dedicated Housing Fund, $15,000 to DPS, 85% of new trees to be native, a 25-foot right-of-way dedication along Sharon Road, left and right turn lanes on Sharon Road at its site access, and then off-site sidewalk for connectivity subject to easements and right-of-way acquisition. The applicant held neighborhood meetings on November 25th, 2025 and May 26th, 2026. 16 community members attended the first meeting and 13 attended the second. There have also been 10 comments submitted on the Durham Rezoning Explorer in opposition to this case. The proposal is consistent with the place type designation of mixed residential neighborhood and is also consistent with 18 of 27 applicable comprehensive plan policies, although 3 of the policies are to be determined as the utility extension agreement and fiscal impact analysis are currently being finalized. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Second to grab the PowerPoint here. All right. Good evening, Chair Shigeros, Vice Chair Cameron, and Planning Commission members. Jeremy Anderson again, Thomas and Hutton, landscape architect at 2510 Meridian Parkway here in Durham. Thank you, Peyton, for your staff report. I'll cover a few of the same items there, but I'll go through a brief presentation here of some of the details of the project. So as Peyton outlined, this is an application to change a single-family really designation to a PDR, but we are proposing 50 single-family homes. So single-family to single-family, just at higher density. As you see here on the map, we are surrounded by residential. I'll say medium-sized residential, kind of the west, east, and north. And then the opposite side of Sharon Road, there's 2 parcels there. One looks like it's under construction. The other one is vacant, or is, sorry, not vacant, but undeveloped at this point. And those are both townhome communities. So as Peyton outlined, this is slated on the place type map as a mixed residential neighborhood. And I think we do meet that criteria, but furthermore, again, all the orange is kind of a medium-sized residential. The brown on the other side of Sharon Road is townhomes, approved townhomes developments, excuse me, under construction. And then we're proposing a single family that's smaller than the lots that are in orange, but again, so provides a mix of housing types, albeit single family. Just a little bit about the developer. This is a proposal by MI Homes. They are a well-established local developer. I think you all know them well in the Durham and Triangle market here. So they're continuing to provide their excellent values and home building in this area. They've got a couple of projects in the area under construction. Peyton mentioned the neighborhood meetings. We held our 2 neighborhood meetings. We all held a 3rd neighborhood meeting that missed one of the criteria to be officially posted, but we did hold it, and it was well attended. It was a good opportunity to discuss with neighbors. That was on May 6th, so a couple weeks before the other one, which gave us an opportunity to again, discuss items in further detail and progress the project. So we actually had 3 neighborhood meetings in total. One of the key items I want to point out is at the first neighborhood meeting, the application was originally for 80 townhomes. That is what was originally went in or submitted on. Based on feedback at that neighborhood meeting, the applicant decided to make a change to 50 single-family homes from the 80 townhomes, so significantly decreasing the density, again, in response to some of the concerns we heard about density and traffic. So that was a change made in response, and I'm excited to bring that forward. We do have a couple additional text commitments that I'll present here in a second. And then we do have a off-site public sewer line that we're working out an agreement with an adjacent neighbor. We did route that so that it doesn't cross the stream. It may touch the stream buffer, but does not actually cross over the stream. We made some good efforts to make sure we weren't crossing the stream itself. And then that'll be routed through and should provide in the future at least one neighbor the ability to connect to a public sewer line should they choose to. A couple of these commitments, Peyton touched on all these. These are the ones that are in the report already, but I want to touch on a few. The affordable housing, you see we don't have a unit proffer in here, but we do have a substantial monetary contribution, and that's just based on the size of the project. 50 homes is not small, but not a significantly large project where you usually see units, so that's why it's a monetary contribution here. We're at 85% trees, a little smaller project, happy to go to higher on that, but again, street trees are a little easier to meet the 100% when you have a project like the one we just spoke on, where we have parking lots and stuff. That's where we tend to have a little more flexibility, but really our required plantings here are street trees, so if we needed to bump that to 100, we certainly could. And then the transportation improvements, there are turn lanes proffered on Sharon Road in and out of the site. The site has one access point off of Sharon Road, and we'll be providing the turn lanes as well as the 10-foot shared path across the frontage. And then I just want to proffer up a couple additional commitments that basically have come out of these last two neighborhood meetings we've had in May. We have, and we will get these to staff, but we are looking to proffer $15,000 towards Durham EMS. We continue to hear the concerns of public safety and EMS in East Durham, so we're willing to make that proffer of $15,000. We are proffering a 10-foot wide, 40% opacity buffer along the eastern property line, southeastern property line against the adjacent single-family homes, just to provide a little bit of buffering there. A 10-foot landscape area along Sharon Road. That'll be some landscaping and some signage, but the homes will be set back an additional 10 feet beyond the 25-foot right-of-way dedication to provide a little landscape buffer there. The maximum impervious is 70% by right. We are willing to reduce that to 55% maximum impervious surface, so that's a significant reduction. And then actually similar to the previous project, we're willing to make a commitment to study the stormwater under Gus Road. Gus Road is the road immediately north off the property, but that's where all the water, stormwater and drainage from the site leaves, and we will study that to ensure that the 100-year storm event is handled by that culvert, and if there's any upgrades needed, then it would be, we would be including that in the construction drawings, but we will commit to studying that. And then I just want to touch on a couple of the policies we didn't hit. Peyton mentioned 18 of 24, 18 of 27, but a couple of the ones that we weren't meeting. I mentioned the affordable housing monetary instead of units, so that's why we're not meeting that one. Green building, similar to the previous project, we can actually revise the statement in there, remove that condition about just applying and put it on COs. So we could revise that and probably meet that policy. The policy 50 and policy 104 have to do with public parks. There is not a public park near this project, unfortunately. Wish there was. I think I looked it up. Lick Creek Trail is the nearest to this site, but there's not a public park, so we don't hit that. And tree protection, tree coverage area, 20%. I'd love to do more, but on a site of 11 acres, it's hard to commit to much beyond 20%. So we're going to stick with the 20% at this point. And then just reiterating, we're 2 for 2 on the place type map policies. With that, I will close my presentation and be here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Community members in person signed up to speak. Wally McKay.
Really quickly, just before we go into the public hearing, I just wanted to clarify that for the first additional text commitment of the $15,000 to what I'm assuming is Durham County EMS, that's just something that staff would have to work with the applicant on. That's not something that we necessarily do. It's a little bit different than the way we accept proffers for DPS. So it's something that could be possible, but I just wanted to let the commission know that's something that we would have to work through.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Wally McKay, 408 Oak Grove Parkway. Again, I travel Sharon Road as well, and I've seen people that hold the road that can't get out on 98 on Sharon Road. I go up Robbins Road. There's a game of chance from the development across from Robbins Road trying to get out. The building, like he said, there's a development coming up right across from this proposed development. That's more traffic. 3/4 of a mile up on the left, there's another development coming up. Down at 98 and Sharon Road, there's a development down there being built right now. What are we going to do about all traffic? Traffic is a main concern in that area. People are coming up Robbins Road from 98 to make a left turn to go back down to Food Line because of all the traffic in the afternoon. Sharon Road, you get toward Miami Boulevard and 70 in the mornings, there are people in the turning lane going up toward 70, backing traffic up just about all the way back to the 2-lane. It's too much traffic. And when you get an emergency response, good luck with that. We got more traffic in that area than what the county is designed for. We don't need more building in that area. There's way too much. There's already a building coming up on Roach Road, which is about 3/4 of a mile from Sharon Road. The extension of that townhome development up there that's going all the way down to Mineral Springs. That's going to be including more traffic coming out on Sharon Road. That's all I'm saying. We got too much traffic.
Thank you. Michael Harris?
Again, thank you, Commissioner. My concern is that Sharon Road has probably 12 developments going on right now. And why is it that, as a committee, you guys are allowing these developers to come in to Durham to develop? It's not improving Durham. It's going to bring Durham into a situation where it's not going to be a very livable place with all this congestion we have. So I would suspect that if the developers will look other places in North Carolina to develop, especially in Wake County, Person County, it would be a much better place to develop. I know everybody wants to come here because of RTP and the research community, but the fact is, people who have been living here, especially those who are retired on fixed income, you guys are not responsible for the fact that we just got another 2.5% tax on property value here in Durham. So what is that going to happen? All that development, sidewalk, what they want to do down on Wake Forest Ave, that's going to come out of us. We're the ones that are paying for all of this, the people that have been here and living here in Durham, okay? You're not doing us any favors by allowing them to come in and to develop these particular properties. Yes, there are people moving into North Carolina, but development should be spread out, not condensed. And you're condensing in one area, and especially the area in the Oak Grove here in Durham. It's too condensed, per se. Up there, where they want developed, there's only one grocery store. And then there's another one, maybe a mile and a half. But most of the residents go to one particular grocery store. So during the holidays, people are just insane trying to get in and get out. And a lot of the things that they need for their families, there's nothing on the shelf. Bring some grocery stores if you're going to help develop this area, but it's too condensed. But please don't let this go on. Thank you.
Jeremy Anderson, I believe you already spoke. Eric Hester?
Good evening, Chairman Ware, Madam Chairwoman, and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Eric Hester, and I've lived in Oak Grove area on Robbins Road for 46 years. I have seen this area developed, and the secret is out as one of the best places to live. I raised my kids there, and that's why I've stayed there as long as I have. But the concern that I have is that we're looking at one of 9 developments that are going on Sharon Road at this particular time, which emphasizes the fact that we're seeing a proposal of 1,044 apartments, townhouses, single dwellings that are coming up on Sharon Road alone. That doesn't include developments that are coming up on Holder Road, which includes Wesley Downs, Davis Downs, which they're looking at another 100 individual residential dwellings there. So we're looking at approximately, as this gentleman was talking about, traffic accidents or traffic problems of another 2,088 cars that are being on our streets without any infrastructure relief in this regard. I have talked to the North Carolina Department of Transportation, and they're telling me in short term, there are no current short-term plans to mitigate traffic for the next few years. So we're looking at 2 lanes, and we're seeing inundated traffic. We've got a report coming up with the rural Durham that in the last 5 years, we've had 280 accidents that have occurred from Wake Forest Highway to Miami Boulevard just on Sharon Road itself. Out of those accidents, 3 of them are pedestrians that have been struck. I don't think about property more so than I do about people who in fact have been in danger of that capacity in that regard. Police Department, as we all know, have got 200 vacancies right now, and in Beat 124, there have been 4,209 incidents that have been reported since January of 25 to currently. We now have EMS who are involved, where we see that they are 10 years behind in our population here in the city. We're asking for relief. We thank you.
Thank you. Adam Shiflett.
Good afternoon. Hello, Chair Shigaris and Commissioners. My name is Adam Shiflett. I live at 301 Robbins. I ask that you oppose this position. I've moved to the area, or into this house, 8 years ago. Fell in love with it, the area and the people that live there. But it's getting to the point where I am afraid to let my kids play outside. The street is too busy. All these things you've heard before, I'm not going to repeat them, but traffic can be blocked up from the intersection of 98 and Sharon down to a half mile down to my road. It's insane. I challenge you to come down and visit it sometime and see for yourself the impact that these places are having on the area and the people that live there. It's hard for us to get out and shop or just look at the city. I have a neighbor who got her car hit the other day because she had trouble getting out of the area. My kids go to school locally, and to get to the bus stop around the corner, it takes me about 10 minutes to go less than half a mile. It's tough. There's no, let's see what else we got here. Just, I'm afraid I can't stay here much longer if I can't continue to live here with the way it is going. And that's it. Thank you. Again, I hope you oppose this. Thank you.
Thank you. Danny Boone? David? Davy Bourne. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Davy Bourne. I live at 322 Robbins Road, and I would ask that you oppose this. This is a very established neighborhood already, and this kind of would put a giant hole and kind of rip us in half. We're all here together as a community. We're all kind of opposing this because we want to continue our sorry. You're a little taller. Yeah, I'm a little taller. Pause my time. No, just kidding. It's okay. And my main concern is Robbins Road, as was mentioned here, is a residential street, and it has become like a bypass for 98 and Sharon Road. People are coming and using our residential street with no sidewalks, no curbs, and traffic has backed up all the way up to the corner. And I'm concerned for my future child playing in our yard that this street, which is supposed to be a residential street, has turned into a highway almost. It's turned into almost just as busy as 98. And this development will pretty much only make it worse. and it's going to tear this established neighborhood right in half. And it makes me sad because that lot is a lot of trees and a lot of nature. Bats fly around every night. You can watch them sit outside. You can hear the owls. I'm trying to paint you a picture of what a very nice place it is, and we would like to keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Faith Bourne.
I'm not as tall as him. You know what, that's okay, this will be fine. I'm Faith Bourne, I'm also at 322 Robbins Road, and I also would ask that you oppose this motion. First of all, thank you for your time today. I know nothing about Section 125, so I'm just gonna talk about my experience living in the neighborhood, and you know, I've really enjoyed it, just as Davey described. We're excited for our future child to enjoy the front yard, but it gets a little crazy and hectic out there. And on my drive to work, I go down Robbins Road and I take a left on 98, and it's a group project to turn left. You have to, the cars are lined up so far going towards Sharon that you actually can't see like who's coming this way. So you wait for this guy here to give you the thumbs up, and you trust a total stranger and you make a left turn. It's really terrifying and really stupid. I don't know why I do it, but there's not really any other better alternatives because the traffic backs up so far. And same thing on our road. Sometimes the traffic turning onto Sharon is backed up all the way past our house. So yeah, I understand. I know it wasn't the planning folks from our group, but I understand the planning folks, gentleman from another group was saying that 98 still has capacity, but I'm here to tell you, I'm not sure where that report was done, but from personal experience, that just doesn't seem to align. Our neighborhood is beautiful. How much time do I have? Oh gosh. Our neighborhood is beautiful. We have a beautiful community. We all live on significant acreage, especially for being in a city. We're on 3/4 of an acre, and it's beautiful. And putting in the average lot size of 1/10 of an acre really disrupts the pattern of the neighborhood. And we already have a fair amount of mixed-use housing. We have apartments or townhomes that have sat empty since we've moved in a year and a half ago. So those are still empty. Can we fill the development that we have before we start fresh? Thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca Ferguson.
Hi, thank you. My name is Rebecca Ferguson. I live at 704 Bayard Road, just one block away from where my neighbors live. And we are all a part of the same community. And these gentlemen who spoke earlier, like we're all a part of that part of town. So these items that have been brought to the table really matter to us collectively because, like they've said, we love where we live. And so my first ask is just, first and foremost, please do not vote to approve this rezoning application. It would really change our quality of life for us, and it would not enhance the quality of life, I believe, for those who would move into our neighborhood because of the super small lot size and just what it would take away from the community. It's already been mentioned, the issues with traffic. It is substantial, both on 98 and on Sharon Road. Those are just things that they would need to be addressed substantially before the quality of life in that community would be able to improve, even like maintain its status as it is. One issue I do want to bring up is the green spaces in the change report. There are green spaces that are like proposed, but it's really unclear as to what they are. And it's been stated that they would pick a green space to put in the new neighborhood, but doesn't commit to this amenity. And that is a part of the UDO policies, that there would be like green spaces. And of course, like we're not accessible to a public park. There is no public park in walking distance. We do have to drive, I don't know, it's like 3 miles to like the closest public park. And so that is something we're lacking in our neighborhood. We also, like, the sidewalks have been an issue, sidewalks on Sharon Road. If this development were to occur, like, it would really need to be a decent sidewalk for, between Robbins Road and Bayard Road. So we just hope that you'll consider all of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Fissel?
Hi, I'm Melissa Fissel on 229 Robbins Road, voting to oppose this just because the infrastructure is not there. Currently, there's no sidewalks on Sharon's Farm Road or 98. Within Robbins Road, that's where I live, there's a big turn. Trying to cross the road, I've been almost hit multiple times, especially early in the mornings around 5:30 a.m. when I leave to go to the gym, which is way before rush hour traffic. I do have a child that attends Southern High School. Right now, there is no safe bus stop for her. We have to meet at Sharon's Farm, but there's no sidewalks on Robbins. So trying to get her there, I have to drive there, park on the side, and because of the rush hour traffic, my car was actually rear-ended. A lot of the neighbors here on Robbins Road actually have to cross over to the left side of the road to get their mail. We've seen cars flying by, almost hitting them. Again, a lot of older residents. Right now, for school, to get her to the bus stop, we have to be there 2 hours early, and the students are still late. There's no public transportation. Some students need to take that to the schools. There is none on Sharon's Farm Road or on Highway 98. Just some stats, Duke Regional Hospital, the wait time right now for emergency room is 3 hours. For Duke Hospital North, it's over 5 hours, and I am a veteran. The VA is actually seeing waits of around 2 hours as well. So really right now, if we want to go ahead and bring in additional homes in that small area, it's really going to cause more traffic issues, as well as we already have 3 townhome developments on Sharon's Road, along with the 2 single-family developments being built. So thanks.
Thank you. Any other people in the audience? That's the end of the sign-up sheet. Nope. Okay, we'll go to the Zoom. Jamison Boone.
Hello, I'm Jamison Boone. I live at 411 Gus Road. My property backs up directly to the development, so it's literally in my backyard. I have 2 young kids that like to play in the yard, play in the creek. I know that my main concern is the environmental concerns and the major change of the development to the neighborhood. We bought this property to be in the development, for it to be quiet. Modern developments seem to, cut all of the trees and then they plant back a few trees that may or may not live for long term. So we've seen issues on that in a lot of developments. No commitment to watering, that sort of stuff. The environmental buffers aren't sufficient to me. I've done, stream determinations before and have seen, this level clearing, how much sediment actually comes from that. I've talked to DEQ about even when the Neuse River buffers are set, and they also do the silt fences. Even if you do triple layer silt fences, you still get a lot of turbidity in the water. The stream maybe lists as intermittent, it flows a lot. In the drought right now may be the exception. So hope you vote to deny this development based on, the impact to the surrounding area and the wildlife value. There's deer, there's raccoons, there's bats, there's owls. My kids love seeing all those things. Durham, all this development is pushing all those animals out of the area, and they have to go somewhere. I grew up in Wake County. On my road, deer got hit all of the time, and before we push those out.
Thank you. Wanda Allen.
Yes, this is Wanda Allen. My address is on file. I'd like to go on record that we met with the developer on 3 separate occasions in efforts to address the concerns regarding this proposed development. Throughout these meetings, we as residents sought a reasonable solution that would allow the development to occur while protecting our property, the environment, and the public safety. The environmental protection, we as residents requested protection of undisturbed stream buffers to protect the water quality, the wildlife habitat, and the natural drainage, and the environmental character of the community. The developer would not commit to preserving undisturbed stream buffers. Boundary buffers, the residents requested undisturbed boundary buffers between the proposed development and the existing homes. The undisturbed boundary buffers would provide us privacy, preserve mature trees, and reduce the visible impact and provide wildlife habitat and help maintain the character of the surrounding community. We even provided examples from other developments along Sharon Road handled by this development, the developer, illustrating residents' concerns, reducing the limited buffer and the loss of natural separation between the existing homes and the new development. The developer would not commit to preserving undisturbed boundary buffers. In addition to streams, the AT&T utility assessment, easement, and other site restrictions reduces the amount of usable land on this property and further limits the separation between the proposed homes and the existing residents. As you guys know, a development should be bringing something to the community, not taking it. Thank you.
Vicky King.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please
Hello?
state your address for the record.
For the record, my address is 2517 Ardsley Drive. I live within 3 miles of this proposed development. My questions here I'd like to bring to attention. This area has been inundated with too much construction. Until upgrades are completed, will Durham be able to accommodate the wastewater generated by this development? What measures is the city taking to ensure drinking water for the current and future construction? There's how many, you've heard tonight the number of developments that are in construction or planned for this general area out here. Sharon Road, 98, Stallings Road, and Mineral Springs Road. They can't hold much more traffic. The measures that are going to be put in place, what are they? Is there any measures that I'll put in place for any possible damages that are generated for this construction site? I mean, this construction site bumps right up to existing homes. We've learned from past construction sites, they're not doing anything. These developments, the houses attached to this development, the existing homes, most of them have wells and septic tanks. We can't allow any more construction to damage their existing problems or their existing sewer and water. Thank you.
Thank you. Jameson Boone.
I already talked. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item? Pam Andrews.
Good evening, 6108 Wake Forest Highway.
Traffic congestions, I want to talk a little bit. This is a 3.74-mile road. Has 14 developments on Sharon Road right now, 14 developments under construction. Traffic construction on Sharon Road is already a significant concern. Existing traffic volumes are high, and approved developments in the area are expected to add thousands of additional vehicle trips. The slides we sent in earlier to each of you show the current vehicle trips per day is over 39,000. No cumulative impact has been done to the area. The crash data we just received from NCDOT this weekend further demonstrates existing safety concerns. 280 accidents have occurred in the past 5 years, with 3 pedestrians being struck. Over $1.9 million in total property damage has occurred from 2021 to 2026. Residents requested meaningful traffic improvements, including consideration of a traffic signal. While the developer acknowledged traffic concerns, no commitment was made to support a signalized intersection or other significant traffic improvements. Sunday night at 6 p.m., fires broke out like crazy on Coley Road at a current recycling center near the Wake County line. Sirens blared all Sunday evening from 6 p.m. on. This required multiple units from neighboring counties, as 28 units were dispatched to this site, which burned 60-foot tall pile of mulch at the Westgate Recycling Center. This continued to burn throughout the night, causing the road to be shut down by NCDOT Monday morning on Coley Road. Simultaneously, a person was unconscious at Zinc House Winery. The fire department was advised that there were no medics to be able to send, as all units were at the other fire call. There are no new fire stations built in this area, no new emergency services, as Eric's mentioned about the police shortage. Our area is in desperate need for help before more housing is passed. 280 wrecks in not even 5 full years, 2021 to the current 2026. We need your help. Please don't do this.
Thank you. Anybody else on the Zoom? Please click the raise your hand button, or if you're on your phone, *9. Nobody? All right, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioner discussion. Is there any questions or comments? Any commissioners? Nope. Seeing nobody. May I have a motion to move case Z25-00034 Oak Grove Landing forward with the favorable recommendation?
Chair, in the case of Page Road Townhouses.
Oak Grove Landing.
I'm sorry, Grove Landing. I know, I got that. Why did I say the wrong one? Anyway, I'm skipping ahead. Oak Grove Landing, Z25-00034. I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie to move this case forward. May we have the electronic voting, please?
The motion fails 7-2.
We will have a 11-minute recess. We will return at 7:30. This is to allow the closed captioning to catch up. Do we still need to do that? No? Okay. Okay, 10 minutes. 7:29. We will resume.
Yeah. No. We were just, I get that.
It's time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here then. Well, do I have to tell Chair?
Calling the meeting back to order, 2 minutes late. Page Road Townhomes, Z25 00035. May we have the staff report, please?
Good evening, Chair Shigaris, Vice Chair Cameron, and Planning Commissioners. I'm Javar Jones, and I'm here to present case Z25 00035, Page Road Townhouses. The proposal includes the rezoning of one parcel of land totaling 4.01 acres and located at 4213 Page Road. The existing zoning is residential rural. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Planned Development Residential 8.728 to allow up to 35 townhouse, detached row house, multiplex, or apartment units. Again, the existing zoning is residential rural. The site is surrounded by residential rural to the south, Planned Development Residential 4.447 to the east, Commercial General with a development plan, and residential suburban multifamily to the west, and residential rural to the north. The aerial map shows the general location of the project along Page Road. The property is currently designated mixed residential neighborhood on the place type map. The proposed zoning was determined to be consistent with the designated place type. The textual development plan has commitments, some of note. It limits housing types to multifamily, a maximum of 35 units, limiting building height to 45 feet, native species, a $35,000 contribution to the Durham Dedicated Housing Fund, a $5,000 contribution to Durham Public Schools, a 10-foot shared use path, and recreational open space amenities. Neighborhood meetings were held on November 6, 2025 and May 5th, 2026. There were 4 people in attendance at the first meeting and 4 people at the second meeting. Additionally, no comments have been received for this proposal on the Durham Rezoning Explorer. The proposal is consistent with the mixed residential neighborhood place type. The proposal is also consistent with 13 of 23 applicable comprehensive plan policies. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Good evening again, Chair Chigueras, Vice Chair Cameron, and members of the commission. I'm Jamie Schwedler with Parker Poe here on behalf of the applicant, a local developer, Grang Guala. I'm also joined by the project landscape architect, Brandon Moore, with the site group. The case before you tonight adds housing in an infill site of sorts along a growing corridor that's complementary to the surrounding residential development and reflects the comprehensive plan's vision for this property. The request is to rezone and annex 1 parcel along Page Road across from Shakespeare Drive and the Page Towns, and just south of the 40 and Page development and the intersection of Page Road and Chin Page Road. The current zoning is rural residential and would be estimated to allow only 5 single-family homes. We're requesting PDR with the textual development plan to allow up to 35 homes and a different type of product to add to the complement of the area. Small-scale residential development is what's envisioned, and that's supported by the place type map designation of the mixed residential neighborhood. This includes neighborhoods that are on vacant land and undeveloped land designed to add a diversity of housing types and price points, with the primary use being residential, which is what we're proposing here. In addition, policy suggests that for areas that are under 20 acres, they should add to the existing kind of types of housing stock and diversity in the area, which is what we're doing because we're surrounded by single-family homes and some townhomes and are offering multifamily and various products. It's also within the urban growth boundary and where the comprehensive plan expects more development to occur. The annexation portion of this request is consistent with Policy 165 because we're surrounded by the existing city limits, so this will be contiguous and reduce the existing donut hole consistent with all relevant policies. Javar did a great job of summarizing the text commitments. I'd just like to explain several of them. In addition to the maximum of the 35 units, we're committing to the 4 different product types: townhouse, detached row house, multiplex, or apartment. And the key there is we could have a variety of those things, but not single-family homes. And so we're providing more homes for more families and doing it in a condensed manner. We're also committing to design variations so that the homes would be designed to look a little bit like townhomes and have a variation among the products. And then importantly, from an environmental perspective, we're prohibiting mass grading and requiring all new trees that are required to be planted to be native species. 2 things that we know have been important to the public and important to this commission and council over the past couple years. We highlighted the $35,000 to the housing fund as well as $5,000 to Durham Public Schools. Those amounts are commensurate with the size and scale of this development. 35 homes on 4 acres, only generating 3 students, but we're still doing our part to incorporate those commitments, as we know that those have been important as cases have gone through. And then I think also in addition, is just as important, the transportation and circulation benefits that we're providing. As Javar mentioned, there were 4 people in attendance at each of our 2 neighborhood meetings. They asked no questions at the first meeting. The second meeting, they asked questions about connectivity and traffic and transportation. And so we added 3 commitments: the southbound left turn lane on Page Road, the 10-foot shared path for the full frontage of the site, and then the dedication of the 25 feet of right-of-way along the full frontage of the site for Page Road, all related to expansion of that accessibility and transportation services. Staff found that the request aligns with the majority of the comprehensive plan policies that are applicable, 5 exceeding the UDO, 10 meeting the UDO, and 10 where the policy is not applicable to this particular request for various reasons. I'd just like to highlight the 5 areas where we do exceed the UDO. Again, this is a 35-unit development on 4 acres, but we're still managing to exceed the UDO in places that matter to Durham, to commit to the grading less than 4 acres at a time, avoiding the mass grading. The native species, we've heard that in several cases, be an important factor that's favored, and we're able to commit to that here tonight. The green infrastructure, focusing on native species and vegetation planning, and then, of course, contribution to the Durham Public Schools, even though we're only producing a minimal amount of students here. We are also consistent with the 2 place type map policies that's shown on your screen. The proposal adds to the mixed residential neighborhood by adding multiplexes and detached row houses, And again, we're under that 20-acre threshold, but we're proposing a new type of product that isn't as prevalent in the area. So adding to that mix consistent with both of those policies. So in sum, we're consistent with the comprehensive plan. We're presenting something that's compatible with existing zoning in our surrounding area. It will improve the balance of uses found in this area of Durham and meets that housing demand that we're working towards and chipping away at with each of these requests. And staff has found that adequate infrastructure is available to serve this site. We'd appreciate your recommendation for approval tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. No other community members in person signed up to speak on this one. Is there anybody on Zoom wishing to speak on this item? Raise your hand, click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, press *9. Nobody? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. We are open for commissioner discussion. Are there any comments, questions? Commissioner Wook?
Hey, so in one of the neighborhood meetings, or I guess the one that had people attend it, they were mentioning a bus stop, like the need for a bus stop in that area. And I don't know if that's something that the city is interested in, but if they are, would you be willing to proffer the space for that?
I don't believe that's a comment we received from transportation. We're happy to work with transportation staff as we move forward and consider that as we move forward to council.
There is no transit service in that area of Page Road at this time.
Any other commissioner questions, comments? Nope, I have a question for the applicant. Is there going to be a connection to Tulip Bloom Lane?
Yes, there'd be a cross access required connecting to that stub.
Okay, thank you. No other questions, comments? Nope. May I have a motion to move case Z25-00035 Page Road Townhouses forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, as it relates to Page Road Townhouses, case Z25-00035, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have the electronic voting, please?
Commissioner Montez is absent for this vote, but by rule, he is a yes vote, so the motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. Next item, 505 West Chapel Hill, Z26-09. May we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair Seguiris. As you mentioned, this is item Z26-00009, 505 West Chapel Hill. The request is a little different than you are used to seeing in this case. In this case, the city is the applicant and is asking that the existing development plan currently on the site be removed. The site is just over 4 acres. And with the removal of the development plan, the zoning would go from downtown design core with a graphic development plan to just simply downtown design core. So the underlying zoning is not changing. This is consistent with the place type map designation of downtown. And the request is in order to facilitate a future affordable housing development on a portion of the site. As mentioned, the underlying zoning would remain as downtown design core. Again, the graphic development plan would simply be removed, and that requires an actual zoning map change action. This is an aerial of the site. For those of you who are not familiar, this is the location of the former police station. It has been empty for many years now. When the current development plan was established on the site in 2020, the intention was to redevelop the entire site in by one master developer to do the whole thing. That has not been able to come to fruition yet, so there is an intent to put, as I mentioned, an affordable housing project on one portion of the site, and that requires a removal of the development plan. As I mentioned before, this is consistent with the place type map designation of downtown. Here is an excerpt from the existing development plan, which calls to retain the existing old police headquarters, provide at least a 1/3 acre minimum outdoor space. It has some rules on the placement of commercial buildings on the site. It also has a minimum of 280 units of residential development, and would call for 250 to 450,000 square feet of commercial development. The removal of that would remove those minimum requirements and pave the way for about 80 units of affordable housing, which is typical for a low-income housing tax credit project. And the city's looking in the process now of developing an RFQ for a potential applicant to work with the city on making that application. Neighborhood meetings were held in accordance with neighborhood meeting guidelines on May 20th and June 4th of this year. There were 8 attendees at the first meeting and 0 attendees at the second meeting. There have been no comments related to this case on Durham Rezoning Explorer. And as I mentioned, the proposal is consistent with the downtown place type map designation, and the proposal is consistent with 11 of 11 applicable policies. And we are the applicant, so we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Clearly, no community members in person present. Anybody on the Zoom? Would you like to speak on this item? Click the raise your hand button, or if you're on the phone, *9. Going once, going twice. Chair is closing the public hearing. Do we have any comments for the commissioners? Commissioner Wook?
So I just want to make sure, like, I want to understand this. So this isn't jeopardizing the preservation of the existing building? Like,
It is not, and if I may, Jennifer Durham from the General Services Department is here. She heads our real estate division and can talk about, this does not jeopardize that. It doesn't require it in the zoning anymore, but I believe there are talks about, there are talks with Preservation North Carolina about a contract with them to preserve the building. Okay. If you want to. Okay. But yes, she's confirmed that that is the case.
Any other questions or comments? Nope. Okay. May I have a motion to move case Z26 *09 West Chapel Hill, 505 West Chapel Hill, forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, as it relates to 505 West Chapel Hill, case Z26-0009, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Cameron and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie to move this case forward. May we have the electronic voting?
The motion passes 10-0 again with Commissioner Montez absent. His vote is a yes vote.
I can say something on committees.
Okay, item 8, committee updates. Vice Chair Cameron.
Just want to report that the subcommittee on the rules and procedures completed our work. We have submitted that to the staff and waiting for legal comment, I think, before we come back and report.
Yes, staff has reviewed it and addressed the one very minor comment that we had. We have forwarded that to the city attorney's office for their review and are awaiting that review. And so I will follow up with the city attorney's office to see if we can get that on the next available agenda that we can. Hopefully, maybe next month.
Okay. 9, new business.
So just wanted to make clear to everyone on the commission, we will need to have a July meeting. We've had some things come forward that necessitate us not being able to get them all to August. We do have 9 confirmed attendees for the July meeting, so we feel good about being able to do that. One other thing to make sure you're aware of, as of now, we need to have that meeting up in the second floor committee room. This room will be having its HVAC system upgraded and improved and repaired or whatever they need to do with that. So this room will not be available. So as of now, we'll make sure that's clear on the agenda and in our materials that we send out to the public. But yeah, plan on meeting up in the second floor committee room. We can broadcast from there. So we'll operate as usual, but just you'll all need to sit a little closer together.
Staff announcements. No staff announcements. Adjournment, 7:51.